All right, hello, everybody. I had posted this morning that this morning, this afternoon. Sometimes we sleep so late. We stay up late and then we sleep. We sleep in late, so we didn't have breakfast till like noon. But so I wanted to, and I'm sipping. It's just water with peppermint oil, and it's doing two things for me right now. So So as you know, I'm pregnant and lots of changes like happen when you're pregnant. And one things that I did not anticipate was my gums. Apparently, when you're pregnant, gingivitis or just swelling of the gums and bleeding of the gums is like a very common thing, but it's like kind of hit or miss. And I also had like a sinus infection, like a very stuffy nose, like last week, to the point where I had even canceled a class. And it's still not like 100%. And I'm also like swollen down here, so like you see my face is kind of swollen. I'm swollen down here on this side with some lymph node stuff. And last night it was hard to sleep because the pain in my gums, and even on my tongue. So like I don't know if you could see, like there's a sore right there. It is like creepy what is happening to my body. And last night I couldn't sleep, but I got this. I kept telling myself, I am healed, I am healthy, I am healed, I am healthy, over and over again. And then this idea came in to drink hot water with peppermint. And I did that, and there was immediate relief in my mouth. So it's not nearly as painful in my mouth with the peppermint oil in the water. So it's warm, and I just swoosh it around throughout my gums, and it provides relief. And then it also helps with my sinuses. And I also the other day, like I had seen this video where people shoved garlic up their nose, like little bulbs of garlic, and then it like drains the sinuses. And I had bought garlic the other day with the intention of doing it, but at the same time I was like scared. But last night my mouth was hurting even extra though, because I'm not breathing through my nose because my nose is clogged up. So then like my mouth is drying out, and it already hurts because of the pregnant. Apparently your hormones just go crazy on your gums or something. A friend of mine, she had to have dentures when she was 21, and on her third pregnancy, the last 3 months she couldn't even wear her dentures because her gums were swollen so bad. And I asked in a mom's group for help, and one woman said the only way was to have the baby, that her gums were just bleeding and inflamed the last 3 months of her pregnancy too. So I'm hoping that it's not gonna be for 3 months. But so I got out of bed at like 2 a.m. I drank the water and the peppermint, immediate relief, and then I said, screw it, I'm just gonna do the garlic thing. So I shoved bulbs of garlic up my nose last night, and I did a couple because it said like on the video it said to do it for like 15 minutes. And I'm always into natural stuff. I don't want Mucinex, I don't want I haven't put gel in my hair yet today, so I'm like it's bugging me, but um I don't want, like medicine, especially while I'm pregnant, that's not, given to you by a doctor. I just don't want to take extra stuff. So, garlic is natural. It made sense that shoving it up your nose would clear your sinuses. So I did that. And I did a couple rounds of it for 50, because I said do it for 15 minutes. And I did it for 15 minutes, and quite a bit came out. And then so I did it again. And then I was able to actually breathe through my nose. Um, and then I went back to bed. I also had a grilled cheese sandwich because I was hungry. And then I made sure to brush my teeth, and because it's weird because it's like gingivitis, but it's also just pregnancy. Like it's like the two go together, but you can try and help yourself as best as possible. I floss nightly. I've been doing that religiously for a few years now. And that was one of the major changes that I made in my life that allowed me to even start my business and make all the changes. Was I was like, it was the first habit that I built that I was like, oh my God, I can make habits. I can change the way that I operate. And it started with flossing, and that's going to be like the title to one of my books, How I Became a Millionaire. It started with flossing. So, and I remember like one of the reasons I started flossing was because I was in such horrible dental pain, and I was like, I don't ever want to be in this pain again. And um so I was like, I'm going to floss, and I built that habit. So it's like gingivitis, but it's also just pregnant. And so I'm hopefully though going to have some more relief. Like I said, my tongue is swollen. I showed it earlier. There's like little sores on it, and then you can't really see like my gums, but they hurt. It's like when I chew on something, it feels like I'm eating like there's like little razors in there, or like I'm chewing on glass, so it hurts. So let's get to the real vulnerable moment though. Um, and this is what's interesting about me is I am an open book. Like there is nothing that I won't tell anybody. Um, I'm always ready to share my story. It doesn't, I don't, so yeah, and I've been doing salt water too. Yes, Rhonda. So I've been gargling with salt water, for both the sinuses and the teeth because that helps. With the salt water, though, you have to be careful because eventually over time it does wear down your enamel. So, I'm an open book, and I don't hesitate to share about what I'm going through or what's going on. But at the same time, um, I'm really only my most vulnerable when I am with certain people, like my sisters or like David. And it's like I can tell you the story of what happened after, like to anybody. Like I said, I'm an open book, but I don't let down walls, um, except around my people. So like you'll always see me being loving and happy and positive on Facebook. Not and that's something that people struggle with too, is like they're like, "Oh, well that's a lie. Like you're two different people." And it's like, "No, it's just we all we probably are two, three, four different people within us." But I don't openly express a lot of emotions other than happy ones, unless I'm around people that I just really trust and love and feel comfortable with. And that's kind of like what David was talking about on his Valentine's Day post when he said he's one of the few people who gets to see me behind closed doors. And I I am different behind closed doors than I am like publicly, but I'm not but there's nothing that's a secret either. We all have our own safe spaces to be, who we are, and I'm not me when when I am happy and loud and positive. Like that is me. And I am also me when I struggle, when I have emotions, when I'm going through stuff, and especially with the pregnancy, there's all kinds of hormones and emotional feelings and things like that. But I found that, so this morning, going through last night, like struggling with, the pain in my teeth, the stuffy nose, and like knowing that I have like a masterclass going on today. So today I'm teaching the Queen Energy Masterclass, which I'm super excited about. But yet, like my mouth hurts. I feel like my words come out like swollen. Um, and I'm just like kind of in this, I'm just kind of like frustrated in a way. And I just tried to soothe myself as best as I could last night and, went to bed. So this morning, um, David and I, he's so sweet. Like, I can't, like, I, I don't mean to knock or, put anybody down, but it's rare that I've been with, in a partnership where the other person, and this was something that was super painful for me in my second marriage was that he was grumpy, like in bed next to me. Like, in the mornings, I had to leave him alone. And I get it. Like, some people don't like waking up and things like that. But it was just kind of, you know, sad when it's like, I'm waking up, I'm starting my day. Like, that's when I'm usually like the perkiest and the happiest, after a good night's sleep. And the person next to you is like, ew, get away from me. Like that's that. And that was like a struggle for me. And David is like, he's never not happy that I met next to him. And so this morning he like snuggled up with me. He laid on my belly. He was rubbing my legs. And he was just like so happy, to be with me and to be in my presence. And that alone. And I was just laying there, just thinking about how grateful I was and how appreciative I am to have a partner who is just so, sweet and loving and never is like angry or mad or frustrated that I'm in bed next to them. You know what I mean? And it just feels so good, like just to have this person who just loves you. And again, I don't mean to knock anyone. Everyone has their own way of wanting to wake up and things like that. But for me, I did want a partner who could be that loving and supportive and excited to see me. And that's so much of like being and operating in queen energy is not the money making. I mean, that's the one thing that I share a lot because that entices people's curiosity. I think that's one of the biggest drivers that we tend to on our on our journey of trying to get out of the rat race, on our journey of trying to do better with our life. We have this mindset that once I have money, everything will get better. And so it tends to be like a pretty big carrot for people that if you can show them that there's a way to make a lot of money, it attracts them first. And there's so much more though, and it's not the money, and this is something that we'll talk about in my masterclass tonight. But there's so much more about being in queen energy unrelated to money that has been amazing in my life. The fact that I'm in this relationship to begin with, a man that is so supporting and so loving and, is so happy every morning to be in bed next to me. Like it's an amazing privilege and a blessing. And it's just so awesome to be in his energy and to receive his love like that. So here we're gonna go get a little crazy though, or not crazy, I don't know, like just very vulnerable right now. Is so obviously we're laying there, we're having a good time. And so we start to get a little sexy time, which was awesome and amazing, and I loved it. Um, and then, but he made a move, which I love very much, but because my neck is swollen with the lymph nodes, so he put, he like gripped my neck, put a little pressure on there, and the pain immediately caused me to just burst out crying. Like I'm just full on just like crying my eyes out in this middle of like this what was a super sexy moment. And then I'm like almost mad at myself for crying so much. But it did hurt. Like I was crying from the pain. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He apologized and I was like, "It's okay. It's just my swollen lymph nodes." Like we knew like everything was okay. And then we attempted to proceed, but what ended up happening was it's hard to always be aware of what is going on underneath when you've been made so much to suppress who you are. So what I mean by that is, as a child, I was not allowed to have my own feelings. The only feelings that mattered were my dad's, and we had to cater to his feelings and what he was wanting and how he was thinking, and how we felt as children, as people, didn't matter, and we had to suppress our feelings and put on a front and be strong. And so I still have that programming within me that whatever feelings I have, I suppress them and I just try to be strong. And I just try to, just take care of business, and get shit done and not allow things or feelings to impact me. And this has been, oh, David's home now. Zoo, it's okay. And so sometimes my own emotions are like hidden from me in a way. And that's because of the way that I grew up and that I had to hide how I was feeling and what emotions I was going through because I had to cater to my dad and his emotions and his feelings. So you know how honest I am, honey. So I was telling him about this morning.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
So I'm crying like my eyes out, and I begin to feel all the sadness of, like, I hate that my gums hurt, and I hate that my tongue is swollen, and I hate that I have a stuffy nose. And I'm so sad. And it's like, I love that I'm pregnant, and I love that I'm having a baby. But these changes to my body are just hard. And it's difficult. And David, hi, Andy. And he just wrapped me in his arms, and he just held me. And I cried, and I cried. And it's just so hard sometimes. And we deny like how hard it is, or like what we feel, because we want to be strong, because we want to be brave, because we have to take care of other people, because we don't want other people to worry about our emotions. And having a man like David who can just hold them, he's not. I've been in past relationships where I feel a certain way and they take it personal, and they think it's about them, and then they can't be there for me when I need them. And David is just so supportive, and he's so strong, and he just held me, and I just cried, and I cried. And I let him know how much I hated that my teeth hurt. And I hated that my gums hurt, and I hated that I had to feel this way. And that is not that I'm not, I'm happy and grateful to be pregnant. I'm happy and grateful for the baby, but I'm allowed to also not enjoy everything about it. And just letting go and releasing all of those emotions was like so magical. And then to just be held so softly by him, and just so firmly, like he wasn't mad, angry, or upset that our sexy time was immediately over. He just took all the time he needed to just hold me and to just love me and to support me through my emotions and allow me to just let it all out and express myself. And it's so important that we do that. It doesn't make us weak to have emotions. It doesn't make us bad to struggle. It doesn't make us, we have so many, I know for me, like having emotions and having difficult problems when I was a child was the worst for everybody around me. And I had to suppress. And it's still this programmed and conditioned thing in my mind to suppress. And when it finally comes knocking to the point where the pain of him squeezing my neck is what triggered the crying. I didn't think to cry myself. Like I'm so programmed that like I will be strong, I will be tough, I will deal with this, I will deal with my gums, I will deal with the pain on my tongue, I will just deal with it, I'll just take care of it, like it is what it is, I just accept it. But that doesn't mean I'm not sad about it. And releasing the sadness and being okay with the sadness, it's so important that we can have both. We can have both. I'm going to get shit done and take care of this, and I am sad about this. We have a duality. We are divine human beings living in a physical body that struggles. And it's okay to have both. It's okay to be both. It doesn't diminish our power by being sad. And I think that, you know, with I think like for me there was a time where things like one thing would go bad and then another, and it was like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And it's just you're just stuck in like this misery of sadness with all of these problems just seemingly surmounting themselves. And then there's times where I'm so tough and I'm so brave and I'm so, hard as nails. And I think that's, the answer. And it's like neither, like both can exist. You can have both. You can be strong and you can be sad. And it's okay. It's okay. That's what makes us human. And also, like, many times we're afraid that feeling the sadness is going to be forever, but it's just temporary. It's just temporary. And it's possible that I may have these bleeding gums and this pain until I have the baby. For some women, they said that their gums didn't get better until after they had the baby. Another woman said it went away after 2 weeks. Either way, it is temporary. It's all temporary. And the sadness I felt this morning and just letting it go and being able to cry it out, I allowed that emotion to move through me. I allowed that feeling to move through me. And it's not, sitting and harboring in my body, festering. It's not being suppressed. And it's not to say that I won't feel sad again, right? I might feel sad later, like again, my frustration about my teeth hurting, but I can feel it. I can honor it. And I can let it go without having to suppress it, because suppressing it will only make it worse. We need to be able to feel our feelings. We need to be able to honor, what is going on. And we can also say that this is temporary and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, whether it's in a couple, like whether I can get my teeth and gums feeling better sooner or whether it's until the baby happens, it is still temporary. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, it's okay. And, so many other women can go through so many other, worse things. Like my mother-in-law, she was bedridden for the last 3 months of her pregnancy. Like, there's so many things that we can go through. And it's okay to feel whatever we feel about them. I don't have to pretend that every part of this journey is amazing because I come on my Facebook and I say that I'm a positive, amazing, happy person and that everything goes in my favor. I believe even still that everything is working in my favor. Even though I'm going through some shit right now with my body, everything is working in my favor. I don't not feel that. I don't not believe that. And in these moments, like part of like what I said earlier, I've been flossing my teeth for like a solid year now, 2 years now, 3 maybe, I don't know, a long time. I've been flossing very religiously, and that's going to be, one of my books, How I Became a Millionaire. It started with flossing. I kind of lost where I was going with that. I don't know. I lost it, but we can take care of ourselves and we can be going through things and it's all okay. Like, it's all part of it. I could be angry that like, hey, I've been flossing. Oh, pain. That's what I was trying to say. The reason I started flossing was because of that pain I was in. And part of the book that I want to write is how pain is one of the biggest catalysts for change. Pain is one of the biggest things that will make us analyze what it is that pain is like it's like a shock to your heart to try and wake you up to what's going on. So much of the pain that we have in our body is related to stress, which is something that we can get control of, and we can recognize where that stress is coming from. And it's usually coming from past trauma, past experiences that are just running a program within our body. And we can eliminate that. So many of the illnesses that we suffer are from chronic stress, and we can alleviate that stress and we can alleviate our chronic illnesses, but it's the pain that's trying to wake us up to let us know, hey, something's going on, something's not right here. So pain is very much a wake-up call. And so whatever this is waking me up to, going through this pain right now, I believe that it is serving me. I believe that it is helping me. I believe that even though it sucks and even though, I can be sad that I have to go through it, at the same time, I see that it is serving me in some form, and that at some point it will make sense to me, or even if it's just helping me change some of my behaviors. I started, it was really weird because when I first got pregnant, I kind of lost my sweet tooth, where I would usually eat a couple of pieces of chocolate at night. I love these candy bars that I found at this gas station, Casey's. And then when I got pregnant, I stopped desiring to eat those. And initially my sweet tooth went away, but it's recently come back. And I probably have been eating a lot more sugar than normal, and maybe not paying attention to so much to my teeth. So this is a wake-up call for me to like really look at, okay, how much sugar are you eating that is causing your teeth, in addition to the pregnancy, because it's not just the sugar. Like it's important. It's not just the gingivitis. It's also the pregnancy. Go hand in hand with causing this problem. So for me, it is a wake-up call. Am I eating too much sugary things? I need to pay more attention to my body and take care of my body. There was another thing too, prioritize my health. I've been talking about setting an appointment with a chiropractor, and I haven't yet. And it's like sometimes pain is there to wake you up, to like shake you and say, you are a priority. You need to take care of yourself. And so I'm using the pain that I'm experiencing right now for that. And I'm choosing to see that the pain is leading me to something good. And at the same time, I can be sad about it. I can be sad that I'm going through this. I can be sad that my tongue and my gums hurt. I can be sad, that my nose is stuffy. All of these things exist at the same time. And when we are in tune with ourselves and our emotions, and we understand the programming, the conditioning that we've gone through, that can prevent us to be in tune and in tap with our emotions, this is where our power comes from. This is where we get the power to be vulnerable and to, discover better ways to take care of ourselves. And so I'm excited. So even though like my tongue does hurt and it feels like my mouth is all swollen, I do have my Queen Energy Masterclass tonight, and I'm super excited to talk about all of the changes that I've made within my life by operating in Queen Energy, what that means, what that looks like, how it's changed. And I can't wait to share that with other people, and I can't wait to just help other people, be more in tap and in tune with their emotions. And I'm still learning. Like, I am by no means an expert. I am not an expert probably in anything but the insurance exam. That's like the one thing.
I don't know.
What, honey?
I'm just kidding.
For real though, like that, I swear there are times where, and I had this happen too. I get like, I get what's called, what is it called? When I start stressing or things are going, or I'm having a hard time, I get like, it's cradle cap that babies get on their head, but I get it on my face. And I was struggling with it for a while, hoping it to go away. And then I was like, God, I wish I knew how to take care of this. I wish I could make this go away. And then a message in my head was like, you do know how to take care of it. You do know how to make it go away. And I was like, I do. I just haven't wanted to do it for some reason. And it's honey and salt. And you just have to mix salt and honey together and put it on your face. And I was avoiding it because it's so sticky. And because that was when I was first with David. We had a lot of stressful things happening at the beginning of our relationship, unrelated to us, but just some things that we had to deal with. And so that's where it had come out, was on my face, and I didn't want sticky honey on my face, but I knew it would fix it. And so I finally did it, and it finally cleared up like almost immediately, like duh. So I know, like, we receive knowledge and we receive insight from our we have a divine team around us. We have angels among us who are always working for us, but we have to invite them in, we have to let them. And so when I was frustrated with the thing on my face, and it was like, you do know how to take care of this, do it. That was kind of like last night, was this like knocking, like I couldn't go back to sleep. And the thought that just kept running through my head is peppermint and water, peppermint and hot water, peppermint and hot water. So that's why I finally got up and I made it. And just the relief in my mouth, just so much relief. Like, this knowledge is all available to us, and that's another thing about like queen energy is we are divinely supported all the time, and whether we have physical people in our life, we still have a team surrounding us and there to help us, and they will give us the insight, they will give us the knowledge we need to help or better ourselves. And the hot water with the peppermint just kept knocking and knocking, just like the honey and the salt did, and it cured it and it took care of it. So sometimes I'm a little stubborn and I try to do things myself. I try to think through things myself, and I need to be more open to, my team. So yeah, so I'm excited to talk about all of this in Queen Energy tonight. It's at 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you can make it live, that's awesome. If you can't, you will get a copy of the recording and it's lifetime access. So I can't wait to see you there. You do have to get a ticket, and you can purchase them on my website, melissamaydillon.com. And I'll also drop the link in the comments here after the video officially uploads to Facebook. And thank you all so much for being in my very vulnerable journey right now about crying my eyes out in the middle of sexy time because I had to release all of this sadness that I was suppressing. And ultimately, though, it's okay and it's awesome and it's amazing that I can feel this sadness and that I have gotten in alignment with an amazing partner who can support me and hold me for that. And I'm just so happy and blessed. So I'm going to let you all go. Have an amazing day, and I love you all. Bye.